This is a brand that, built its entire image on ultra luxury, often priced way out of reach for most EV buyers.
Exactly. But our sources are showing that this definition, this idea of luxury, it's changing. And changing fast, it seems, driven by production needs and, well, the need for volume.
That's the real tension here, isn't it? That's what we're diving into. Lucid brought out the Gravity SUV, big splash, called it the ultimate uncompromising SUV.
Suggests money's no object.
Right. But then you look at their operational situation, recent announcements, and suddenly the focus is all about affordability, about numbers, sheer volume.
Absolutely. So our mission here for you is to try and decode this kind of dual strategy. How does a brand like Lucid, so aspirational, so high-end, start offering its first ever discounts on a flagship, on the brand new Gravity, and at the same time get ready to launch a much cheaper version of that exact same vehicle?
It really makes you wonder.
What does this pivot tell us about their production, their capabilities, and really their fight for market share as we head into the end of 2025?
Yeah, it feels like this is where the rubber meets the road for them. So we're going to unpack those immediate kind of limited time offers first. Then we'll look at what makes the Gravity feel luxurious in the first place to justify that high price tag.
Okay.
And then we'll analyze the really big strategic piece, this cheaper Gravity touring trim that's coming soon. It's the combination that tells the story.
Okay, sounds good. So let's start by setting that baseline. What is the Gravity supposed to be? Why is it positioned as this ultra-luxury SUV? That context makes the discounts much more, well, surprising.
Precisely. If you look at the specs, the things that scream luxury, the numbers are genuinely impressive. Our sources point to up to 450 miles of range. That's a huge number for a big SUV, something a lot of competitors are still chasing.
Huge. And the size.
Massive interior. They described it as being like a Chevy Suburban inside, plus, all the advanced software, and they even claim it has the soul of a sports car.
So uncompromising performance, uncompromising space, all wrapped in luxury. But building something like that complex, it takes serious manufacturing muscle.
It does. And that's where the backstory for this year really matters. You have to remember the context Lucid is operating in.
Right.
This push towards affordability isn't happening in a bubble. Lucid spent the first half of 2025 basically recovering from a big production problem.
That magnet shortage, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. A magnet shortage that really messed up their manufacturing flow, hit them hard.
Slowed everything down, especially those higher-priced cars they were counting on.
Correct. And, well, that forces their hand now. They need to slam the accelerator. The Gravity isn't just another model in the lineup. It's set to be the workhorse.
The main event.
Pretty much. The company's planning a major production ramp-up, like right now over the next few months. And the Gravity SUV is explicitly pegged to be the majority of their production and deliveries in the second half of the year, H2 2025.
Wow, the majority. So it can't just be a low-volume, fancy halo car anymore.
Nope. It absolutely has to be a volume driver if they want to hit their yearly targets.
Okay, so if Gravity is now playing the volume game, they need to move units, like yesterday, especially the expensive ones they've already managed to build. Which brings us to these immediate financial moves. And this is where Lucid kind of breaks its own luxury rulebook, doesn't it?
It really does. Offering a discount, any discount, on a brand new flagship luxury vehicle, that sends a big signal, especially for Lucid, which has always been so protective of its premium pricing.
And what's really interesting is how surgical this first discount was. It wasn't some big national campaign. Our source talks about a very specific, very limited time $3,000 incentive. And it was only shared via email.
Yeah, just to community members near their Cherry Creek studio in Denver, Colorado.
That's incredibly specific.
That hyper-local thing, it speaks volumes, doesn't it? It feels less like a broad sales strategy and more like, I don't know, urgent inventory management, maybe.
Like testing the waters.
Yeah, testing the waters, maybe trying to shift specific cars they have on hand without, watering down the brand image everywhere else.
And the clock was ticking, too. The offer only applied to vehicles physically at that Denver studio. At the time the source was written, there were only 4 Gravities actually available there for immediate delivery. 4.
Right. It really suggests they're using these little targeted pushes to clear out specific stock before it becomes a bigger headache.
But that $3,000 offer isn't the whole picture for immediate incentives, is it?
No, definitely not. We need to look a bit broader to see all the financial levers they're pulling right now. While that $3K rebate was very location-specific, Lucid is using other tools to make the Gravity more tempting right now.
Like, what else is on offer?
Well, they're actively pushing Gravity leases, starting at $1,299 a month. And, importantly, there's an accompanying $2,000 loyalty offer. That's for current Lucid owners. Or they call it a conquest bonus if you're switching from a competitor.
Rewarding the faithful and poaching from rivals? Smart. And then there's the big one, the government incentive that applies across the board.
Exactly. You really can't forget the most significant piece for anyone buying a high-end EV right now, the full $7,500 federal EV tax credit. That's still available for the Gravity, at least through the end of this year.
Right.
So you stack that $7,500 from the government, maybe the $2,000 loyalty bonus, plus those lease rates, it starts to build a stronger financial case, even for a vehicle north of $90,000.
Okay, but moving existing cars with temporary offers is one thing. The real shift, the structural one, is about the price of future cars. And that brings us to the main event, strategically speaking, launching this lower price trim. Right now, if you go on the Lucid website, the only Gravity you could actually spec out is the Grand Touring. And that starts at what, $94,900?
$94,900, yeah. Puts it right up against top-tier German SUVs. Porsche Cayenne, Mercedes EQS SUV territory, pure luxury segment.
But if you want volume, you need a lower entry point.
You absolutely do. And Lucid is delivering that, or planning to deliver it soon, with the Gravity Touring model. Expected starting price, $81,550.
$81,550. That's a big drop, over $13,000 less than the current starting price.
It's a very significant drop, and that $81,550 price point is strategically crucial. It pushes the Gravity right into the ring with, say, higher-end Tesla Model X versions or the Rivian R1S.
For competitors entirely.
Exactly. Lucid is deliberately widening its net here, trying to grab buyers who maybe saw the brand as just too expensive before. It's a pragmatic move to gain market share.
So how solid is this? Is the $81,550 price point just talk, or is there concrete evidence they're committed to this?
Well, it seems pretty solid. We've got confirmation from leadership, and we've got action on the factory floor. Nick Work, he's their global communications head. He confirmed publicly on X, Twitter, that we'll get more details on the Gravity Touring before the end of the year. So the timing seems locked in.
Okay, confirmation is good, but what about the factory? You mentioned action there.
Right, and this is probably the strongest evidence of their commitment. Twerk also confirmed they are implementing a second shift at their AMP1 plant down in Casa Grande, Arizona.
A second shift? That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. That's not a temporary measure. Adding a whole second production shift is a massive, expensive, long-term commitment. You're doubling your manufacturing workforce, essentially.
You don't do that for a niche $95,000 SUV you only plan to sell a few of.
Exactly. You do that when you expect serious volume.
So that second shift really signals that this move to $81,550 is backed by a real expectation of higher demand. And it's about making up for those production issues from the first half of the year.
Yeah, they're putting serious money behind volume manufacturing now.
It makes those earlier, smaller discounts seem tactical, like you said, managing current stock. While the second shift and the touring trim, that's the long-term strategy, that defines their business going into 2026.
That's how it looks, yes.
Okay, now just to get the full picture of what Lucid's doing promotionally right now, we should probably quickly touch on the Lucid Air sedan offers too.
Good point.
It shows this push for volume isn't just about the new SUV, right? It seems like a company-wide thing, move the metal.
It definitely is. And comparing the Air offers to the Gravity ones is kind of interesting because the Air is, it's an established car now. Lucid seems more comfortable being aggressive with direct rebates there.
Okay, so what are the specifics for the Air?
For the Air sedan, buyers are currently looking at a pretty substantial $7,500 Air credit.
$7,500 straight off.
Yeah, basically a big factory rebate. And on top of that, you still get that $2,000 loyalty or conquest bonus.
So potentially close to $10,000 in savings advertised, plus anything else that might stack.
Right.
So why the difference? Why a full $7,500 credit on the Air, but the brand new Gravity only got that tiny localized $3,000 test offer?
Well, it likely comes down to where each car is in its life cycle and protecting the brand. The Gravity is still the shiny new thing. They need to protect its premium image, hence the cautious, managed intro of discounts.
Makes sense.
The Air sedan, though, it's been out longer. It faces more direct competition now. That $7,500 credit feels more like an urgent push to clear existing inventory. Maybe stimulate demand for the sedan platform itself.
Classic move. Clear out older stock, make room for the new stuff, like the Gravity Touring, maybe?
Could be part of it, yeah. Even while they price that Gravity Touring aggressively.
And just like the Gravity push, there's a deadline for the Air offer, too.
Yep. A hard deadline. Buyers have to take delivery of the Air by October 31st to get that big credit.
Creates urgency, focuses everyone on selling now, which is exactly what you do when you're shifting from, bespoke luxury to trying to ramp up volume production.
Precisely.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've seen this clear two-pronged approach emerge. On one hand, you have these targeted, almost urgent little discounts like that 3K offer in Denver, testing the waters. On the other hand, you have the fundamental price change coming with the $81,550 touring trim.
Yeah, they're sort of testing price sensitivity right now while simultaneously building the capacity to actually handle more volume later.
So the key takeaway.
I think the critical takeaway is that Lucid is really executing a major strategic pivot. They're moving away from just high-margin luxury, which defined their launch, towards much more aggressive, high-volume production, especially in the second half of 2025. The brand needs the Gravity to be a success, not just as a fancy halo car, but as a real player in that mass-market luxury SUV space. The limited discounts feel tactical, inventory management. But the $81,550 touring trim and adding that second shift at AMP1, that feels like the core strategy for their future, their viability, really.
Okay, so here's something to think about. We know the Gravity's supposed to carry Lucid's production hopes for the rest of the year. We know they're adding that expensive second shift. What might this big strategic push toward the $81,550 touring model really tell us about the kind of volume they expect to hit next year and where they see themselves fitting in the market? Lucid promised us the ultimate uncompromising SUV, but when volume becomes the main goal, does that uncompromising luxury start to feel, well, a little more negotiable? Something to mull over as Lucid tries to balance the soul of a sports car with the hard realities of assembly line economics.